this one is our fourth one, the vehicle pawn blueprint. To create a new blueprint, we can right click and go to the blueprint class, and we don't have a vehicle pawn here. You will be tempted to add this thing, but that is not the vehicle pawn. We can search here vehicle, and you can see, I think, yeah, this is the wheeled vehicle pawn. This is a subclass of our pawn. You can add that wheeled vehicle pawn, and if you don't see that, yeah, let's rename it before. Let's say KSR. We are not taking that one, so name it anything. And if you don't see that wheeled vehicle in that class, you might need to go to the plugins and make sure the chaos vehicle and the chaos vehicle plugin experimental is turned on. If it is not, turn on, and there will be a restart button here. Okay, and this is the same one, but this is already set up. So let's open the blank one first, and as you can see, there is a KSR self, a mesh to be loaded, and there is a vehicle movement component. This vehicle movement component is the reason we need to add it as a vehicle wheeled vehicle blueprint, not just a regular pawn. We need a vehicle wheeled vehicle blueprint for this vehicle movement component, and it contains all the vehicle details. We'll be seeing that too. Now let's open the sports car one, and we can delete this one right away, and let's open the sports car one. When you first open the sports car one, you will be seeing all these nodes and might be confused. For now, we don't have to touch any of those. We just need to go analyze this part. We'll go to the viewport, so we don't have to worry about that. And here you can see in this pawn class, we have our mesh, our car. We already have our mesh. We can change it. If you select the mesh, you can go to the mesh thing, and if you need, you can change it to our KSRTC. That's okay. We'll change it back to our sports car. And there's two cameras here. I told you, if we have multiple camera, we can toggle it. And there is something called spring arm. We will be seeing what that is when we create our own KSRTC. And there is the vehicle movement component. Now we can make a new folder, and we need to make a new folder for KSRTC, and we can make all these wheeled vehicle pawn and make all these map again, or we can just duplicate this one and name it as KSRTC underscore pawn, and we can just move it to our KSRTC folder. Move here, and all the settings will be already set. Let me know in the comments if you need to know how to make it from the scratch. It will take more time, so I'll just mention the main things here. We can make a different tutorial to make a car pawn from scratch if you need. Okay, let's go to the viewport, and let's the main thing first, the mesh. We need a different mesh here. Before that, let's rewind. What was the pawn? The pawn was also a body, but not just the body. It has different components there, and a brain. Like we said, it's a brain, or the logic for the game. Okay, it's similar to this one, or in this case it's similar to this one, but it has more components than body and skeleton. It has two multiple cameras and some logics inside that. So we need to do that. We need to do the same for this one. So let's open the KSRTC pawn and flip the mesh. For that, select the mesh, go to the mesh options, and let's search for KSRTC version 1. Now it's loaded here. If I compiled and saved and go back to our world, as you can see, it's loaded our KSRTC now. Okay, let's go back to our KSRTC pawn. We don't need the sports car anymore, so let's close that UI is okay, we don't need that, we don't need that, and we don't need that. I think, yeah, we don't need that. Okay, let's go to KSRTC pawn, and now we have loaded our mesh, and let's try to, let's save it first, and let's try to play our game. And if I hit play, it still load that off-road car because we haven't changed. This is on the way. Let's move it a little bit outside of the way, and we need to change that KSRTC phone with off-road in our game mode, in KSRTC game mode. Don't forget to do that. Don't change that in another one. Go to the KSRTC game mode, and let's change that default pawn class and change that to our KSRTC pawn, and let's compile it and save. Go back to our bus world. Now if I hit play, it should be loading this one. Why? Oh, we haven't changed the world game mode to our KSRTC game mode, and let's hit play. Now our KSRTC is spawned. We are inside the bus, but it spawned the KSRTC. Now let's go back to our KSRTC pawn now and fix that camera issue first. This is a front camera which should be at the driver's seat, and I think the camera needs more field of view here. Let's say 110, because we need to see more space here than the normal camera. And the other camera is inside the, we can move it back by using a spring arm. You could move it like this, but the use case of spring arm is actually we need to rotate the camera from this anchor point, not from the camera's anchor point. So we'll put the spring arm back to the center, and yours might not be in the center. You can change the center point a bit up, maybe a bit back, and we can increase the arm length of our center cam and put the cam a bit higher, and let's take the back camera and rotate. Come on, rotate to in just a bit. Okay, we can round it up by -10 degree. Okay, let's compile it again. Go back to our bus world. Let's hit play, and we spawned our bus, and I don't think that's our player control. I think I have somewhere the player stat is unloaded. That's okay, we can add another player stat here. I think when we change the game mode, it's unloaded automatically. And let's hit play again. It's spawning at that player stat position. Now as you can see, our bus is slanting down. There's a big reason for that. Let's escape the game. Let's press escape and get out of the game and go back to our KSRTC pawn. The reason for that is vehicle movement component is still thinking that's the off-road vehicle. It doesn't, sorry, the sports car vehicle. It doesn't know this is changed to a bus. We need to mention all the properties of the bus to make it behave like a bus. So before doing that, if you're making this one from scratch, don't forget to turn on the simulate physics in mesh, I think. Yeah, don't forget to turn this on. I always forget to turn that on, and the vehicle will be floating on top. So don't forget to turn that on. Now let's go back to our vehicle and set the vehicle for our KSRTC. It's not a sports car. Let's say to the blueprint, it's not a sports car, it's the KSRTC. Okay, the first thing we need to change is in this wheel setup. We need to tell it has a different wheel bone and different wheel width and height. Let's open that up. There's 4 new wheel setups, and if you need a different one, you can just add one more. Okay, let's open that up, and there is some options. We don't need to worry about this right now because we already set the bone at the right center of the vehicle, sorry, wheel, so we don't have to worry about that, but we need to worry these two. This one is self-explanatory. We need the bone's name which controls the wheel. If you remember, let's go back to our mesh, and in the mesh folder, let's open our skeleton for our mesh. If you remember, we named our bus wheel names with back left, back right, back front left, front right. That if you have a long name, you can just right click and copy the bone's name from here. Also a simple one, so we can just write it here. So let's go to KSRTC pawn vehicle movement. Let's write front left, front right, back left, back right. In some tutorials I heard we need to use the same exact order, but I have tried the other ones with a different order and it still worked. But for safety purpose, use the same order: front left, front right, back left, back right. And the other thing is our 5th blueprint class, that's a wheel blueprint. Right now this is taking a wheel blueprint data from a sports car wheel blueprint. If I open that up, you can see that it is giving out, it's a front wheel, it has a cylindrical shape, and it has a wheel radius of 39, wheel width of 35, and a friction multiplier of 3. And if I go down, it's a front wheel, so it is affecting by steering. Max steering angle is 40, and handbrake is not affected. It's not giving a throttle if you need to work with the throttle. If it is a front wheel drive car, you need to affect by the engine, and handbrake is affecting, sorry, brake is affecting, handbrake is not affecting the. So all those data are in this wheel blueprint class. To make, you can just copy it and paste it there and rename and change the, make the changes, or we can go back to our vehicle template, blueprint, KSRTC, and right click, go to blueprint class and search for, try wheel. Yeah, this chaos vehicle wheel, not this one. This won't be present if we don't have a off-road car already. Just open the chaos wheel vehicle. This is the parent class, and select that one. This will be our KSRTC wheel front. Okay, let's name it like that, and let's open it up. Don't worry about this thing, we don't have to change anything there. We just need our details panel, and this is a front wheel. We'll set it front. We need our wheel radius now and the wheel width. For that, let's go to our world, and we have our KSRTC here. Let's go to our top view and find that KSRTC pawn. Press F and let's zoom in to a wheel. This is our wheel, and I think this is the start and this is the end, and we can get our width from here. To measure something in Unreal Engine, you can just, if you are in a orthographic views, you can press middle mouse button and just drag and drop. Don't forget to turn off the snap, otherwise it will snap to the grid. So let's put it here. I think it has a diameter of 100, so the radius is 50, and the width is 25. Yeah, 25. So front wheel width is 25 and diameter of 100, and the diameter is same here, but the width is different for the back tires because it has 2 tires and the gap in between them. So let's try that. I think that's 55 is the width for back tires, remember that. And let's go back to our perspective view. Now let's go back to our wheel, and our wheel radius is 50 because half of the 100, and it is 25, I believe. Yeah, it was 25. And this is the front, so we don't need to affect by engine or handbrake, or if it has a front wheel handbrake you can turn this on, but we need to affect by steering. 50 is okay. Now we can change that later if it is not right. Okay, let's go back and let's make a duplicate, and control D is my shortcut, yours will be control W. I changed it because of the convenience. And let's write this back or rear, whatever you need, and let's open that up. This one we don't need to be front, it's back, and we have a wheel width of 55. And yeah, I forgot to change the friction. We could put 3 or 4 will work. Let's put 3.5. Yours might be different, try that out. And mine it is 3.5. we need to affect by handbrake, affect by engine, don't need to affect by steering, otherwise the back wheel also will be turned like that Japanese car video or something. I have seen such something like that. Let's combine both, and this time let's save it all. Now it's not done yet, we need to go back to our KSRTC pawn, and let's change that wheel to KSRTC wheel front for this one. This one is also wheel front, and this one wheels back, wheel back. And let's compile again, save. Now let's hit play and see what is the result. And as you can see, our bus is staying on the ground. Since we copied our KSRTC pawn, all the events are here. We'll see some of these nodes in next class, but all the logics and our IA steering and all the throttle things are here. So we already have all the controls here. Let's hit play and see the vehicle is moving, and as you can see the tire is not turning. And if I try to turn our bus, let's escape again, let's try it in a smaller speed, move again, let's rotate. It's turning the bus, but the vehicle wheel is not changing. And if I move too fast, the vehicle is doing some weird animation because it still has some properties from the off-road car. So let's stop it there. Before fixing that balance issues, we'll fix that animation issues. As you can see, when I hit play, and if I turn the bus is turning, but that wheel is not animating according to that. So we'll fix that first, and for that we need to go back to our vehicle mesh, not in the vehicle template. We can go back to our vehicle KSRTC, and we need an animation blueprint here. We can right click, open, sorry, we don't have to go like this, just search for anim, not there. Let's right click again and move the mouse away and search for anim. You can see anim blueprint here, just press on that, it will automatically create an animation blueprint for this bus and assign that skeleton for that. Okay, let's name it as KSRTC underscore anim BP. Okay, and open it up, and it's already set the bus for it, and all we have to do is give the animation. The animation is already saved for us by Unreal Engine, so we don't have to make it from scratch. But for the door and for the door and steering we might need to make it. We'll make it in a later tutorial. Okay, Now we need to reference the mesh. So let's right click on the animation blueprint and let's search for mesh, and we need to get this mesh space reference. We need another node which is controlling the wheel, but we can't see that now. If I search for wheel, there is some other nodes, but we need a different nodes. To get that node, we need to go to the class settings and change the parent class from anim instance to vehicle, I believe, yes, vehicle animation instance. If we right click here right now and search for wheel, we can see wheel controller for wheeled vehicles. This is the one controlling our wheel animation, and all the animation are inside that one. We don't have to change anything, we just need to connect this one, and if we connect this one, it will automatically convert the component to local. Okay, let's compile that, save, and go back to our KSRTC pawn, and in vehicle movement component, sorry, not in the vehicle movement, it's animation is the part of the mesh, so we need to go to mesh and change the animation class to KSRTC anim BP. You don't have to change any of this. If it is something else, go change it back to animation blueprint. We can also animate without that blueprint, but this is the easier way, so change it to use animation blueprint. Compile, save. Let's go back to our bus world and hit play, and voila, our tires are turning, tires have the rotation, and the bus just fell down. That's a different issue, but our bus is moving. Before fixing that balance issue, we will be changing our KSRTC pawn. We won't be using this KSRTC pawn. We will delete this KSRTC pawn for right now, and let's force delete it. It is asking right for that because we already have a KSRTC pawn there. So let's hit F to get back to this position. Okay, we won't be copy and pasting this sports car. Also, we are not going to make it from scratch, but we are making a child blueprint class. Since all the vehicles have the same logic and same inputs and all that, we don't need to copy and paste everything every time we make a change inside a blueprint. We just need a child class, so this logic is coming from the sports car pawn itself. So let's right click and create a child blueprint class and name that as KSRTC underscore pawn. Also, let's rename the sports car as sports car, let's put it like that, and name it as parent pawn. It's the parent pawn, so we need to change whatever we need to change here, we need to change it inside this one. Okay, let's move this KSRTC pawn right now to our blueprint KSRTC folder, move it there, go back to KSRTC, and if I open, you can see all our things are here, and if you go to event graph, none of those event things are here because everything is inside our sports car parent pawn. So we don't have to worry anything here. If you need something else for this particular pawn, you can add it here. Otherwise, the common things are working from our parent pawn. Okay, let's go back to our viewport. Now we just need to change the things here. We can go back to our mesh, change it to KSRTC again, and front camera again. Let's put it up, and the camera's view angle is 110. Let's go back to the other spring. Yeah, let's compile it again, save. Don't forget to go back and get the animation blueprint here, KSRTC anim BP. and our vehicle movement component, do all this again. Now it is the same setup as before, and let's save all again. And if I hit play, and I think it loads that. What's the issue? Blueprint event graph executable.
A few moments later.
Okay, sorry about that. I found the issue. We haven't reconnected our KSRTC game modes pawn to our new KSRTC pawn. That was the issue there. Let's compile it again, save, go back, and all our player stat is unloaded, and we can't delete that. If anybody knew how to delete these things, please comment on the comment box. And we'll add a new player start thing here, and let's hit play. And again we have our bus, and it is working like the same, but just with a difference. And oh, I think it corrected that balance thing too. It shouldn't have. Let's try that. No, it's not corrected, but there's a reset button there. We can just press tab. No, sorry, tab is for switching the camera. You can just press, I believe, backspace to reset. That's the key Unreal Engine set for us in that IAS. Okay, we have a balance issue right now, and we can go back by pressing F from here. And also our KSRTC pawn is a child of that one, and if we change something from this sports car, it will change this here too. Okay, for the balance thing, we can go to our vehicle movement, I believe, and go somewhere here. Yeah, in vehicle setup you can have a different center of mass. It's using the other car's center of mass, and it's in a wrong position. We can enable center of mass to override it, and you need to play with these values, especially this one. This is the z value, and the z value is the up vector here, so we need to play here. And the 0 1, in my case, it won't make it fall down, but let's see. I'll go to the third gear and full speed. Okay, and if I turn, it won't be falling down, but it loses that shakiness to it. Won't be falling down ever. We don't need that, and we can go back to our play start, and you need to play around with that values. And I remember 135 here will be working. If you go negative, the somewhere here it won't be falling down as you think. If you are turning this way, it will be falling down the other side. So play with it, and I found that 135 will work for me here. And if I hit play again, and let's go to that side, and gear 2, gear 3, if I turn right now, it is falling down, but we shouldn't be for turning in that speed. If we need to change, we can make it a bit more stable by this value. Alright, so that's how we drive a car in Unreal Engine. In next video, we'll be customizing this car according to our needs, and give more animation like opening the doors, animation for the steering and all that. So for that, subscribe, like, don't make me say that again and again. Do all that things, and bye.